Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm just quickly going through some of my old memories and more cards and Project Life cards just to find if I have anything that I can use on my layout today. So it's really good to get rid of our stash. Now, I best introduce myself. My name is Michelle and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up here in New South Wales, Australia. And what I've been doing on Saturday mornings is going through my stash and I'm creating an album all about me. So, and I'm just creating different pages and showing you how you can use up what your old stash, everything that you have got lying around, and create a fantastic album. So I'm just going, let me turn my camera down. Please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from, and let me bring my camera up so you can see. Now these are 4x6, 2x3x4 memories and more cards. These are some of the cards that we've had with Stamping Up over the years, and as you can see, I've got quite a big collection here. And what I'm just going through is I'm looking at all these black and white cards, and I'm working out if there's any of these that I might be able to use on my page today. And what I'm trying to scrap today is a page about my eldest son. So I'm going to do one page for each of them. Now we're working on a 4x6 album. And I'm just very quickly going through here. I'm looking for anything, not necessarily places to write, though that could be handy. I might just pop that to one side. Maybe even that one. Maybe that one. I'm just going through and finding whether there is anything in here that I can cut up into a 2-inch square that I can use to add to my page. And I'm just wanting to use black and white because there's going to be a lot of photos in lots of colours. And I've decided at the last minute just to do them as a black and white with maybe a hint of other colour. I'm not quite sure. It's a progress. It's working with what we've got and what stash we've got. Now I think I've gone through all of those. They're all definitely black and white. So let's just have a quick look and see what. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I had all these all sorted out. Now they're all over the place. That's okay. We'll sort them out later. Just seeing if I've got anything else in here. I found some stickers out of another one. Some more black and white there. I don't think I want any of those ones. Let's just have a quick look through here. So I hope you've all had a great week. Sorry I wasn't on last week, but I was away for the weekend at an embroidery retreat, which, if you saw my photos, was a lot of fun. So that could be interesting. It's got a little bit of blue in it, and that's okay. That's the back of that one. We might be able to use that. Who else has got a big stash like I do? Just seem to have stuff everywhere that all needs to be used up. I've got all of these all put away in the kits that they came in. They're all Christmassy. They're all Christmassy. No. Okay, I think I'm going to be just about. So I don't want too many, but these could be quite fun. These have got all sorts of different colours in it, and we've got that's a good one. So some of these are quite a few years old. So some of these were when we were working, Stampin' Up was working with Becky Higgins. Here's the Project Life Queen. Just more looking for sentiments. I do have a few that I can stamp. Okay, I think we might leave it at that. Otherwise, I could be going through all of these all day. There are a few more there, but I don't think I've got anything. Else that I can use. Okay, let me pop these out of the road onto the floor, and let's get started in creating something, a page. Okay. Pop them down there. Okay then, so I've got a whole lot of bits and pieces here. And let's start with our page and our photos. So we're working on a 6 by 8 page, which is what I have got here. And as you can see, I've got lots of photos. So I still have to cut some of these down. Now, what I've done to work out my photos, because a lot of these photos I've had since before. I've just got stuff falling everywhere as per normal for me. I'm just looking for something that I've made, a template I want to show you. There you go. A lot of these photos I've got before we had digital, because my son's now in his 30s. So I need to be very aware of what I'm cutting up, because there are some photos that I may want to scrap at a later date in something else. So I'm going through a lot of photos that are really non-photos, like they don't really relate to anything else. They're just, how can I explain it? Odd photos, or photos that I've taken of my children where the background wasn't the greatest thing. Okay, and because I'm cutting each one of these photos down to a 2 by 2, I can cut a lot of the background out. So what I've done is I've made myself up a template, and I'm going through with this template. Now that's 2 inches square, and I'm working out, okay, one, what part of this photo I want to use, and 2, whether in this photo he's going to fit, because there's no good me starting to cut this photo down if he's not going to fit in it, if he's going to be too big. It'd be like me taking, let me see, let me see if I've got a photo of one of my other boys. Okay, taking this one here, and I want to cut it down. And if I want to get this Robert into it, then I can get out of this photo, I can get actually Robert in there. I can see by using a template like that over the top that I can cut that out, but I'm not going to get Patrick in it. Or I can cut Patrick out as well. If I wanted to, I could actually get the 2 photos out of that particular one there. But I'm using this as a guide, because I want to cut it down to whether he's going to fit into that image that I want. So I've worked out on all of these photos that yes. Now, to give you a good example, I've already cut the photo down, but this particular photo here, you can just see the person's face there. She photobombed the photo. So not only did I have him looking at the camera, I had her looking squarely at the camera as well. So by using this template, I could work out, is this photo going to work for what I want to do, by moving it around and working out roughly where I want to cut this out. Now, I'm just wondering whether I've cut that out at 2 inches. This may not be exactly 2 inches, but it just gives me a bit of an idea. I'm hoping I've got all these correct. They should be. Yep. So make yourself a template to the size of the photo that you want and go from there. So I just need to cut a couple of these photos down. I don't want that one. Let me go back in my box. And we're going to cut these down to 2 by 2 as well. So I like to use my little trimmer for doing this. And I'm going to pop that on the 2-inch mark. I've already cut down one side. I don't necessarily want his legs and his nappy, but I do want to make sure that I'm not cutting his head off. Because the photos are so small, you can cut fairly close to the top of the head. And I want that one there. So these are my eldest son of different ages throughout his life. So this one here, I'm going to cut it down through the centre first. I've printed most of these at home on my selfie. And I want to go as close to him there as possible. This young lad is into a few dangerous activities. He likes to go caving, and this is a recent one that was sent to me of him in a cave. He takes all his mates out caving, so I just want to make sure I'm not going to chop his head off. I think I want to go about there. But these are all photos from him from when he was quite young right through to now. So this one here, I can work out where I exactly want to cut. So I'm probably going to start my first cut about there and just make sure that I've got 2 inches above. Whoops, he's going to lose a bit of his head there. So we might need to go there and then trim that a bit more. Now you can, on a selfie too, move these photos in and out, so to make them more to size. Or you can actually even do your own frame and I put 2 photos into one, but you can also do let me just have a look and I can show you on my phone. If I go into my selfie here, let me get rid of all of that. You've got photos here, and this will enable you to do either a single photo or 2 photos on a sheet, 4 photos on a sheet. And in some ways I probably could have used this one here, got 4 photos on one piece of cardstock, but and then you would have had to have cropped in some of the photos if they're too far. The other way that you can do it is you can go to custom size down here and you can create your own sizing. So what I've got here, I've created some at 3.7 by 5.6. I've created 2 here at 3.5 by 2.5. I've created a 2.5 by 3.5. I've created a 2 by 3. Now these are all inches, by the way. And then I've got a 3 by 4, so you can sort of customize a little bit. They're not a true 4 by 6 photo. If you're printing a full photo at 4 by 6, they are a little bit smaller, but for my purposes and for what I'm doing here, it's been quite good. Okay, so I've got a whole stack of photos here. And I pulled out all sorts of designer series paper, but I've ended up deciding to go just purely to black and white. So what I want to do is I've got a whole lot of photos here of different ages. So I haven't got baby photos like when he was really young. I just couldn't find any that I wanted to cut up. So I'm going to create on here maybe a whole grid. Now, because each of these are 2 centimetres square, and I'm sorry, this is not real planned, I can create, and this is 6 by 8, I can go 3 across. I'm not putting these in any order. And I can go 4 down. But what I want to do is I want to, in between some of these, is put some of these other elements into it. So I'm going to be creating like a collage type thing on a grid, if that makes sense. So let's just have a look. So if I've got that one, let's get him into his ages. So we've got this one here. We've got this one. At the moment, I'm just going to play and just see. And we could add some designer series paper in colours throughout this if we wanted to. But I'm just working out what we've got. Now, this is probably the most recent photo of him. So I definitely want to finish off with that one. And then I've got this one of him, which is also recent-ish. Sort of got to keep working with whatever grid you've got. So we've got those. Now, these 2 are year 12 photos. No, year 10 photos. And I've still got some photos here I haven't used. So that's if we did it on a grid like that. Then I would have to fill in each one of those. Or we could do that one there comes next to that one. Then we've got those. Then we have now I don't have to use all of these photos. Do that. And then we could go back. If we did something like that in groups of 3, rows of 3, we've left ourselves with 3 photos there. Now, as far as journaling is concerned, I'm thinking of adding adding something in here as well, but not necessarily on any of these blocks. So if we did something like that, then we could add in here we've got current faves, so we could put that. The other thing I've got pulled out of my stash is this particular stamp set here. Love this days. Now this was actually designed to be all blocked as well. So these are about 2 inches. So we've got little snippets of joy, which we could also pop in instead of using those. Love these days. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we could use all of those, or we could bring in, I think that one's going to be too big, so we can get rid of that one. That one's the same. Love this life. That is definitely going to be too big. So that most of these, and this is where this could also come in handy. You can see by that we're going to be losing that circle if we used that. Most of these, if we wanted to, we could cut one of these down and use them for journaling. This has got journaling lines on it, but we won't get many, so I think I might get rid of that one. This one here, we would lose a bit as well. Now, what I can do, okay, so that's 4 by 6 because we've got two up, 2 down. So I can put that onto, let's just stamp some of these. Let me get my thought in process working. So let me just grab, actually I cut some 2 by 2s. Here we go. Let's just stamp some of these and start playing and seeing what we can add. I've still got that photo there, which I may or may not put in there, but let's have a look at these. And I'm just going to stamp these in black. Now, where's my little, just want to make sure that these are going to fit. Yes, they are. These also come with dies, so you've got these dies here as well. And at one stage I was thinking of actually putting a frame around one of them, but it's going to make it not, this wouldn't work with it. But anyway, let's just play. Let's play, because we can use, if I don't use these on this layout, I can use them on another one, because I've got 4 boys, so I'm going to be doing one of these for each. So let me grab a block. That block may be a bit big. Yep. Now I'm just going to use my memento here. And all I want to do is just grab a foam mat, I think, because we are playing with photopolymer. And there we go, got ink all over that one, so let's flip that over. Just inking this up a few times. Just making sure I get good coverage. Just hold that down and let that ink absorb into that. So little snippets of joy. And I'm just going to pop that over to there for the moment. Grab another block and I'll wash them all later. Now, this is a much bigger stamp, and I haven't used it, so I'm just going to give this a little bit of a season. Now, you can, of course, add colour and to stamp these in colour if you wish. Love these days. And what else do we have on here? Actually, I think that might even be, I don't know whether, let's just have a quick look, because I do like this frame, but I think it's going to be way too big, because it is a lot bigger than my 2 by 2. So let's pop that to one side. We could even cut some of these photos down a little bit more, though I have cut them to their max, but let's just have a little bit more of a look here. I think this one here is still going to be moments like this. And it could work. It'll fit into my square. I'm just sort of could cut that out into a circle and add a bit of colour behind, because I did pull out this particular paper, which it will go with pretty much everything. I mean, it doesn't go perfectly. And this is from the pack that's called, it's in the current catalogue. It is called Paper Medley, okay, and mix in designer series paper. So you've got a whole stack of designer series papers in different colours and designs that will mix in with whatever project you're working on. Because what I could even do is cut, let's get rid of all of this out of the road, cut my paper into that instead of having it on a white background. So let's just do it and see what we come up with. Sometimes it's doing rather than talking about it. And you could start working on something and then come up with something completely different. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches to start with. So it's 6 by 8. So let's open this up and get the 8. So there's our page size. And it's very boyish with the denim sort of look. So let's just see what our photos are going to look like, because we can take them in, or I can take them. So I was looking at having that there. I mean, we could even just space them out that little bit more. Brick them a bit, maybe. But then we don't have room for that one, and we don't have room for these. Okay. As I said, we don't need to use all of them, so I don't have to have that one, and I don't have to have that one. So let's just see what happens when we take those out. We could leave it at that. That needs to be trimmed down a bit because that's not quite a 2 by 2. Have that. I actually quite like that. I don't mind that. It's sort of not quite as many photos. Still showing the different stages throughout his life. We could even add an extra one down there if we wanted to, because I mean that's what he's really into at the moment. We could create little groups like that. We don't have to be all the same, as long as it looks relatively balanced. And at the moment I've sort of got it in age. So let's just keep playing because I don't mind that. And I'm going to grab my mini cut and emboss and cut this out in a circle. So we've got that we could add there. Let's just have a little bit of a look what I've got here. I found a whole stack of stickers left over. And we could use some of these as well. Don't know whether I want quite like that in there. And this is where we can add a little bit of colour. You know, you've got happy thoughts, love, amazing, some hearts, some chevrons. This is just leftover stickers from other things. But I do like the black and white. What else comes in this? Let's just have a quick look. Because the other one that we've got too that we can play with, if I just have, and we've got other things that we can die cut. I don't think they are quite suitable. We've got these as well. This is Current from Extraordinary Life. Because we could easily die cut some of these in black or your white, but that I don't mind. Though they are a bit bigger, but it doesn't matter if they sit. Just seeing what we've got here. Got a big and. Love these days. And little snippets. Don't mind that. The only thing I haven't put on here, I haven't really got anywhere for journaling, anywhere to say his name. I did have another idea for this page. Let's just take a little step back and because what I was originally considering, instead of doing one 4x6 page, is to use one of the pocket pages and having one of these sections and then having a flip flap. Now, I did get some flip flaps that I could use, so let me just see if I can grab those. Won't be one tick. In a box down here, I thought. Okay. So I could cut this in half. And this would give me actually somewhere to journal. So let's just open this up. This is your flip flaps. Oh, I wish I hadn't put the sticker there. And these are 4x6 flip flaps. And what I was contemplating is doing, let me just grab a couple of these out, because in one packet of these 4x6 flip flaps, you can get the adhesive on different areas. So you've got this one here where your pocket is there, and you've got your adhesive at the top. So what I was thinking of doing was having one attached there for one of my sons, and then one like this, so they're both not going the same, they're going a bit different, because this one here is a 4x6, but the adhesive is on the short side, which means that you can have it as a flip flap going that way, or you can have it as a flip flap going that way. And what I was thinking of doing is have one going in one direction and one in another. And I think I'm going to go back to my original idea, which will give me a bit more space. It'll also give me area for journaling. So let's just remove all of that and let's cut this into two pieces. So I'm going to cut this in half at 4 inches. I'm sorry, I'm a bit out of screen there. So instead of having one at 6x8, I've now got two at 4x6. And I want to cut another one at 4x6. So I've got another piece of this somewhere. I'm just doing my usual thing. I've got stuff everywhere and I can't find what I'm looking for. Okay, let's just cut this piece. I do know I've got another piece, but that's okay. Okay, so this is also 6. So I want to cut another, I cut 4 inches off that. Okay, then let's see. So the way I think I'm going to do this is if I bring in my page, which is this, I'm going to have one there because I've got 4 boys. So this is sort of, and this album's not about them. This album's about me. We've got to remember this. Then this one here can also go into there as well. And then that can go on the back there. So what that will give me when I create this page, I could adhere that down there like so. And then I can have all of that about Aaron and that, which will give me an area here for journaling. And I can put his name. And I can put photos on here. So if we're going to do that, so this is going to be my front. So I'm going to have that one for journaling. Then I'm going to have this one here. So we can start off with his baby photos again. So we've got one here. We could put one there. Put that one over there if we wanted to. And we can have Love These Days. And actually, I could probably bring that in. Now, I like to have a bit of blue, I think. Love These Days. That could even go. Don't necessarily want it. I quite don't mind that. Okay, I think we're going to start sticking this down. So let me grab some adhesive and I'm going to start adhering this down because the idea of this is not supposed to take us forever. It is supposed to be something we can do reasonably quick. And if we wanted to, we could even cut some of these down a little bit. I don't think I'm going to for this one. That one is going to go there. Seems to be a shame covering up all this lovely paper, but anyway. And I want that one there. Then we just need to put something on there to embellish it. So that one's going to go like that. Then we're going to have another one which is going to be inside. So that's going to be on the top flap. We're going to have, hello Lorraine, how are you? I'm just sort of working through what I'm doing here. We're going to put our journaling on there. So I hope you're having a good day. Well, it's evening for you in Canada, isn't it? So now we've got these photos here, and this is going to go on the inside. So we can put we could even leave that one out and just have him as a younger, or even pop that one in there. And then that one I might use somewhere else. Even put his name across there, and that could easily become the top. Okay, let's just have... I'm working on my album about me, Lorraine, and I'm doing a section on my boys. So, because they are my family. Use those, or I could use those. These ones here, I may have all the letters ready to go. So let's have a look, see what I've got. Whoops. I thought I put all those into a plastic sleeve. I did, but I pulled them out. Okay, so we've got here a... Do I have an R, double A? Double A. Hot day. I hope you're not getting too many fires there today. And I just threw that R away, and I don't know where I've thrown it to. It's gone on me somewhere, but anyway, I'll find it later. If there's a second R here. A-R-O-N. So we could do it like that. So that will be on top there. And then flip up. That's if I've taken out one of the photos. But what do I put? A-A-R-O-N there. Could have little snippets of joy, but he's not a baby in those photos. So that one sort of looks almost out of place. Let's have a look, see what else I've got here. I've got a container here of black and white stars and bits and pieces. I think those stars need to go into a bag. Oh, good thing I found that there. Oh no, that's some words. I thought it was some dies. We could pop that in there. If we wanted to, we could have that. Just trying to keep this really simple. The other thing too that we could do Now, let me just grab this piece. This is my 4x6 piece, and I'm just going to pop these out of the road for a second. And I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces of 4x6. Actually, I need that for a bit longer because I'm thinking of cutting this down again. So this was cut at 4x6. So if I cut this at, well, let's start with 3.5, and then by 5.5. This is going to be my journaling section. And I'm not going to adhere this on because I'll probably do my journaling. I'm going to glue this on because I think I do want that up there. Even though I probably could have put, instead of using a designer series paper, because I've covered it all up now, probably could have just used white, but that's okay. So that's what I'm thinking of being my front page. So that can go into there. Then this 4x6 here can have that on there. Now I'm not going to adhere this down because I want to do my journaling, and I may use my printer and print it onto there. But the other thing I was thinking was that that could go on here. Could go on there, or it could go on here. Okay, I'm looking for your opinion. Yeah, he's into abseiling at the moment. Well, he's always done abseiling and caving and that with Scouts, but now he's got into it. He's got into it in a big way in Sydney. So this was only taken a couple of weeks ago, him down in a cave, and he's been teaching all his mates how to abseil. And I can bring that down there. I was thinking of die cutting. I might even just do it. I'll grab some black cardstock here somewhere. Let's just close these little stars up before I lose them all over the room. And let's grab a piece of, it's not going to fit on that one. I've got a smaller piece. That's not quite black. I keep all my bits and pieces in here, but I don't have one. So let's just pop that to one side. And get rid of that for a moment. And that one. Just want to cut this in half so I can put it through. Put it through the mini cut and emboss. My plates. And let's just cut a couple of these bits and pieces. Now, of course, if you don't want to use black, you could also use a Night of Navy. Though the blue in this is more hydrangea hue. So let's pop that there. I want to cut one of those, and we'll cut one of those just so we can play. Now, I'm not worrying about the parts, my other boys coordinating with this one too much, even though because I'm treating them as individual pages. So this one here, we've got this one. So what we could do is we could have those going right across there, since we've only got the 3, since we've split this up. That would even give us the room to pop that into there if we wanted to. The "and" just looks a bit funny, I think. Doesn't really coordinate with anything. Okay, so let's just have a look. What could we do? How could we do this? I mean, I can always find more photos. I mean, I do have this one here, so we could add. And I know I've got photos of him scouting somewhere, so I could add more photos if I wanted to. So I do want this to be a little bit photo heavy. Actually, I don't even mind that, because that's supposed to be that I may not be able to use. This is where "and" could come in handy. That could go in that. So love these days. And how about that? I think actually that's not going to look too bad. Okay, so let's pop all this to one side and let's grab our adhesive and put this down. I don't have as many photos of Aaron as an adult because he doesn't visit us that often. Thanks, Lorraine. Whoops, that's not quite right. Let's see if I can get this. Take that off there and see if we can. Oh, I've torn the paper. So let's see if I can get this to. There we go. That one's better. For some reason, these photos haven't wanted to go on as well as the others. Let's see if I can get this one off. We can adjust them all. Okay, let's see if we can. That is better. It's a little bit of a gap there. I don't know why. Just want to bring that in. Luckily, I'm covering all this paper up. There we go. I can just trim that down just that little bit. You won't even know that I made that boo-boo. So we'll go there and then we'll pop. And there and okay. So that can go into there. Now we can attach this one onto here. We want it sitting. Now, you know what I'm thinking I might do? Because this, I'm going to slide this one here. So I've taken the adhesive off the back and I'm going to slide that into this pocket. Actually, no, that won't work because this is longer. It's as long as it's not going to slip in there. I don't think. Let's just double check. But you know what we can do? A little bit of surgery. I am just going to cut off an angle on that corner and an angle on that corner. So all I've done is I've just cut a bit off each of those. So what I want to do is pop that into, so that's going to adhere. That then would adhere onto the back of that page, which means, okay, I've got to think this through. If I tuck that into there, that's going to adhere onto the back. I think I'm going to go back to my original and adhere this to the front. Much easier. Okay, and because this is my number one child, it is going to go, they're going to go there. Oh, the thought you have to put into some of these things. Lining all of this up. It doesn't want to line up for me. Let's do it this way. Let's butt these two together. Butt that. And adhere. And hopefully we've got that right. So that can go right down into there. And I just want to give that a really good burnish. That one is going to go into so that's my, so if I get a bone folder and run over that, that adhesive will actually just disappear. just sort of blends in, and that will also make sure that stays. So that's going to be that one there. So that's Aaron, and then we're going to pop his name onto that. So I'm going to pop those to one side because I'm not going to adhere that as yet. And then that one there is going to go into there. So that's where my journaling. So I'm going to have that one there about Aaron. And then this one here is going to be my other son, Hayden. And I might even just glue this down now, because what I want to do is this one here, because this one's going to fold up like that. And this one here is going to fold that way. And I'm going to do something a little bit similar. But the other reason why I wanted it to go in different directions, because you could have two of these going in the same, but I wanted to have these in different directions. They do overlap a little bit just here. So you sort of can't lift one up without the other. So you'd have to lift that one up first and then open this one. So I'm going to stick this one on now. There's a lot of static in that. And I'm not doing this page as yet. I'll probably do this one during the week. I won't have you guys all watching me doing all of these pages. I just wanted to show you what I'm doing and what I'm planning. And I tend to work by the seat of my pants. So nothing has sort of like, I don't have anything, like the whole album's not going to coordinate with each other. There will be a running theme because I do have a favourite colour, and that favourite colour is blue. So you will see blue throughout this album. And that's going to fold over there. So when that goes into my album, so I've now got myself a new album with the black spine on it. Just don't let me lose those, Aaron. So this is what I've done so far. So last time I was on, I showed you how I've created this, but I hadn't put my title on there. So this is my story. Then on the back of this, I hadn't shown you this before, but I've cut all this into strips, and I've added, let me just take that up so you can see. So I've just cut that paper because I really love this paper, and this is the paper I'm going to cover my book with. And then I found a Memories of More card that had this lovely saying on it. So I thought I'd add that. Excuse me. I needed to break this up a little bit, so I used one of the dies out of, and I'll show you the packet in a minute, and I cut myself like a little lace piece to go across there. So that was that. That was the page I did a while ago. And then I'm going to have a section. I've got these ones here, which I think I'm going to move back up. So these all could change yet, okay? So it's all going to move around. So then I have these photos here about me as a child, and then I thought I would bring in a section about my husband, and then after that is going to go these pages. So these are going to go into here. So I'm going to have one on Aaron, one on Hayden, which, as I said, you'd have to lift. You couldn't just lift that up because they're tucked under each other, so you'd have to open it up. And it's going to be a different sort of format using different colours, whatever. Then I'll do the same thing with these pockets on this side of Robert and Patrick. Then this is the page I made last time, which I'm going to stick photos in here and journaling about what I love to create, because I've just had that weekend away doing embroidery. And then on this side, which you hadn't seen me do, I created a section from my kitchen, which I'm going to pop into there, some of my favourite recipes. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. So I've got the right album. I am going to cover it, and as I said before, it is going to be covered in the papers that are, I've got them here somewhere, from this collection here. So I may do that sometime during the week as well. And then I will come back on here once I've worked out how I'm going to decorate the front of it, and we'll decorate that together. So it's starting to come along, I think. I'm really happy with it. So, and I'm just sort of did a little bit of planning. I'm planning to do something about the every day in my life. So I'll just do one page. Not quite sure yet how that's going to work out. As I said, these pages here could move around a bit more yet, but and then I'm going to find some photos of when Joe and I were dating, and then this is another section on, it's going to be about our wedding, and this is a page that I had made last time as well, but somehow I have got to work out how I'm going to decorate it yet. It's like a divider. It's like this one here at the front, which is, I'm going to have a few of these type of things made throughout the book, so it divides it up into different parts of my life. So and this will be sort of like my family dating, and then my family section, so my be a wedding photo of some sort in there, and then my children there as well. But I wanted to show my children from young to adulthood. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. It's starting to come, as I said, it's starting to come along. It's starting, things are going to get added to this. This is going to be a work in progress. It's going to be something that's going to be long term. So it's not going to be something I'm just going to sort of do it and finish it in a few days. The other thing too, I'm just thinking with this Aaron, I could easily even do, that might get lost on there because those photos are dark. But hey, you never know. Some of these things you've got to think about. Don't want to cover him up though. But I could also pop that onto there as well, because I put some adhesive sheet on the back of those. That could actually look quite okay there. What do you think, Lorraine, if you're still there? But anyway, I hope you I will have a play with this and come back at a later stage. So that could even go on the side there as a family. I don't know. We'll work it out. Okay, so thanks for joining me this morning. I will be back next Friday. I've got to get in and clean up my room because I've got a house inspection happening. You like Aaron on the journal page. Okay. So we might put him on there. We'll work out what I'm going to put in there as journaling. A little bit about it, my cheeky boy. But have a great day. And thank you very much for joining me today. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but hey, this is how I roll. And have a great week. And I will see you, as I said, next Friday. I'll be back here creating a card of some sort next Friday. And then hopefully on the Saturday, we'll be back to do another page or whatever in this album here. And hopefully I might even have some more of this part completed, and I can show you what that's going to look like, because as I said, each section is going to be different. I'm not going to necessarily copy the next boy down the same as Aaron's. So take care, have a great week, and I'm going to get in and clean house. Bye for now. Yep, I'll say hello to Joe for you, Lorraine. Take care. Bye.